Hello, everyone, and welcome. As an expert in the systems that drive modern hotels, I'm truly delighted to be here with you, the students of Europe Hotel School, as you begin your online learning journey. We're here to support your growth into the future leaders of this amazing industry.
Everything we're covering is designed to give you practical knowledge you can actually use in a real hotel. So think of today's agenda as our roadmap. We're going to start by figuring out what makes a crisis a defining moment, and we'll wrap up by looking at the huge impact it can have on a hotel's reputation.
All right, let's just pause on this for a second because this one idea, it's the core of everything we're talking about today. You know, a technical glitch, a power failure, those details fade, but the feeling of being looked after, or maybe the feeling of being completely ignored during a stressful moment, that sticks. It creates this deep emotional memory, and that is what really defines a hotel.
So it's really important we shift our perspective here. A crisis isn't just a failure, it's a defining moment. It's like a crucible, really. It's where a hotel's true character, its real commitment to service, gets put to the ultimate test, right in front of your guests.
Because during these disruptions, your role at the front office completely changes. You're not just there for check-ins anymore. No, you become the command center, the emotional hub. You are the source of care, reassurance, and that absolutely vital human connection, especially when guests are feeling their most vulnerable.
So, the big question is, how do you handle that huge responsibility? Well, the answer is actually a simple but really powerful framework. It's all built on 3 core principles that are going to guide every single thing you do.
And here they are: presence, support, and humanity. If you can master these 3 pillars, you'll be able to handle pretty much any situation with total professionalism and genuine care. So let's break down what each of these really means.
First up, let's look at presence and support together. And there's a good reason for that. They're totally intertwined. They're all about making that critical shift from just being available to being actively and proactively engaged with what's going on.
Now, let's be really clear what presence means. It's not just about standing at the front desk. I mean, an empty desk just screams chaos, right? Real presence is active visibility. It's making eye contact, it's moving with purpose, it's stepping out from behind the desk to engage. It sends this incredibly powerful, unspoken message. We're on top of this. We're in control.
And this just shows the difference perfectly. On the one hand, you have reactive service. Guests are waiting, they're getting anxious. On the other hand, you're proactive. Guests see you, they see you're already thinking about what they need, and you immediately start building a sense of security for them.
Okay, so let's build on that with the next pillar, support. If presence is about being visible and in control, support is what you do. It's about thinking one step ahead. Do people need some water? Do those families need a quiet place to sit for a minute? When you proactively offer these simple things, you're showing you see them as individuals, and that goes a long way to making them feel safe and secure.
And this brings us to our third, and maybe the most important pillar of all, humanity. This is what takes a process and turns it into real, genuine care. It is the one thing that no technology, no system can ever replace.
And it can start with something so simple. Just acknowledge what they're feeling. A phrase as easy as, "I can see how frustrating this must be," instantly tells them you get it, you're on their side.
And whenever you can, use their name. In a moment of total chaos, hearing your own name makes you feel seen as a person, not just a room number. It's incredibly grounding.
And finally, offer genuine reassurance. Now, this is key. It's not about making promises you can't keep. It's about letting them know with confidence that you and your team are on it. You're working hard to manage the situation for them.
So the most important thing to remember here is that these little gestures become huge symbols of care. A warm tone of voice, a patient explanation, even just staying for a minute with someone who's really anxious, these things don't cost a dime. All they take is intention, and they communicate care better than any formal announcement ever will.
Okay, so we've covered the core principles. Now, let's get practical. How do we turn these big ideas into actual concrete actions you can use when the pressure is on? This is where theory becomes a real skill.
So, how do we actually do this in the middle of a high-stress moment? Let's zoom in on 2 key things: communication and tangible, visible support.
Look, your communication has to be constructive. It is just not enough to say the system is down. All that does is create more stress. Instead, always use this 3-part formula. First, here's what's happening. Second, here's what we're doing about it. And third, here's what you can expect from us next. It's a simple structure that provides clarity and shows you're in control.
And please, remember this. Actions will always speak louder than apologies. An apology is good, it's necessary, but it's the effort they can see that really builds trust. If the elevators are out, don't just point to the stairs, walk with the guest who might need help. If dinner service is disrupted, bringing out some snacks and water shows you still care about their comfort.
Getting good at these skills isn't just about surviving a tough day. It's a massive investment in your hotel's reputation and, frankly, in your own career. Because how you handle these moments has an impact that lasts for years.
The truth is, guests are pretty reasonable. They don't expect things to be perfect all the time. They get that things go wrong. But what they will judge you on, what they will remember, and what they will tell their friends about is the intention and the effort they saw in your response.
And when you look at it this way, the stakes couldn't be clearer. A poor response, that leads straight to guest frustration, bad reviews, a damaged reputation. But an excellent response, one that shows presence, support, and humanity, can actually flip the script. It can turn a disaster into a story of incredible guest loyalty, because they'll always remember that you cared when it really mattered.
Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. The technology, the procedures, all of that, they're just tools. The heart of hospitality is and always will be human connection. And in a crisis, your number one job is to protect that connection no matter what.
So, I'll leave you with this one last thought to carry with you. Your defining moment is coming. It's not a matter of if, but when. And when it arrives, when the systems fail and the pressure is on, how will your guests remember you? How will they remember the care that you showed them? Because that, right there, is the true measure of a hospitality professional.